WWE presents Clash in Paris live later on today, and with this upcoming PLE set to take place in Paris, France, could Paul Levesque and his creative team have some major surprises planned for the PLE set to take place later on today? Well, in this video, we're going to let you know 5 potential major surprises that could take place at Clash in Paris later on today. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling, and certainly the headlines today are going to be dominated by WWE Clash in Paris. The PLE is set to take place later on today. It's going to be streaming live on Peacock in the United States. It's going to be the final PLE to actually be streaming on Peacock before all PLEs for WWE move to ESPN beginning next month with WWE WrestlePalooza. For the rest of the world, internationally, it will be airing, streaming live on Netflix. And if you do want to watch the show on Netflix, you can do so in the United States. All you need to do is get a VPN. You can get one courtesy of NordVPN. You can scan that QR code right there. You can click the link in the video description below. It'll be pinned in the comment section. You can get up to 73% off and 3 months extra protecting 10 devices in one deal. Certainly, with these PLEs moving to ESPN next month, and possibly an extra cost to consumer, you can get WWE PLEs as part of your Netflix subscription, and NordVPN's a way to do it. It's another way to support the channel, and it really is much appreciated. Now, as I mentioned, WWE is going to be having Clash in Paris later on today in Paris, France, and we could see some major surprises in store via Paul Levesque and his creative team. Let's get into these major surprises, beginning with the main event of the show. That is going to be John Cena versus Logan Paul, and many people are expecting John Cena to win this match. He's only got about 9 dates left, including today, after burning through all of the dates he had announced for this year. He's only got 9 dates left before he retires officially as an in-ring WWE superstar. And one of his final matches is against Logan Paul. Now, with another match seemingly set between Cena and Brock Lesnar for WWE WrestlePalooza next month, many are saying it's impossible that Logan Paul is going to win this match. But could we see a surprise happen? Could we see Logan Paul do the unthinkable and defeat the greatest of all time in what WWE is billing him inside the squared circle? And when you think about it, it's actually not just not impossible, but actually it could be quite possible. Yes, John Cena lost at SummerSlam against Cody Rhodes. And many people are saying Cena's not going to do back-to-back losses. Surely not. And he's certainly not going to lose to Logan Paul, of all people. He's a social media influencer. He's not even a proper pro wrestler. He's an outsider. As much as he says he's not an outsider, he is an outsider into pro wrestling. So surely you wouldn't have Cena, the never-seen 17 world champion, lose to Logan Paul, right? Right. Well, maybe this is exactly what's going to happen. WWE certainly do view Logan Paul as a future world champion. Obviously, Logan Paul is a social media megastar, and most people know who he is, and he is a very good wrestler, despite the matches being heavily choreographed and a lot of time to plan. There's no doubting Logan Paul can go in the ring. There's no doubting he can go on the microphone. And you could have a situation whereby there are a lot of different ways that John Cena could lose this match. There could be outside interference from future opponents, which we'll get to in a second. There could be a situation whereby Logan Paul has outside help as well. We know that Logan Paul does have this connection with Drew McIntyre going back to SummerSlam and the feud with Randy Orton and Jelly Roll, and Drew McIntyre has been whispering in the ear of Logan Paul to do whatever it takes to defeat John Cena. So maybe Logan Paul can cheat. He's got the one lucky shot. He's got the brass knuckles. He's got his entourage. He's got Drew McIntyre and other people that certainly could get involved in this one. So we could see a situation whereby, because of all of these outside distractions, Logan Paul does the unthinkable and defeats John Cena. And really, the story now being told in the second half, or the latter part of John Cena's retirement tour, is can he win whilst being the old John Cena? Can he win a match whilst being a good guy? Pretty much all of his victories on this retirement tour have come being the evil John Cena, the heel John Cena, which he says he regrets. He had to resort to that to create compelling television. He had to resort to that by using The Rock and Travis Scott and being a heel and cheating to defeat Cody Rhodes, to defeat CM Punk, to defeat Randy Orton and others. But as a good guy, prior to that, he wasn't winning matches. He hadn't won, as he said, since, 2018 or something. He was losing every time he wrestled a match, pretty much, certainly a singles match. Now that he's back to being babyface John Cena, he lost to Cody Rhodes. What if he loses here to Logan Paul? Does he have this feeling of, am I even going to win a match before I retire in December? So there certainly is a story that could be told there, and I don't think it's impossible at all that Logan could do the unthinkable and defeat John Cena. Now, Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is going to be in action at Clash in Paris. He's facing off against the Tribal Thief. Yes, it's going to be the Tribal Chief versus the Tribal Thief in Big Bronson Reed, who of course is going to be accompanied by Paul Heyman. Now, initially there was a bit of confusion, wasn't there, about if Roman Reigns was even going to be at Clash in Paris. He was advertised, he wasn't advertised, and there were fake posters going around of him on them, and then there weren't posters going around of him on them. Eventually, Roman Reigns was making these appearances on Raw, and it looked like he was going to have this match with Bronson Reed. It was later announced and it's going to take place. But Roman Reigns is in this Brock Lesnar position now where he's got this part-time schedule. When he comes back for a feud or a match at a PLE, and then he disappears again. So WWE have to find a way, seemingly, to write Roman Reigns off television. It doesn't look like he's going to be appearing at WrestlePalooza later next month. We don't know when he's next going to be back. Maybe at Survivor Series is taking place in San Diego, California, which is a hotbed for the Anawahi family. So maybe he could be taking his next match there, his next appearance is building up to that. Maybe we won't see Roman Reigns for the rest of the year. That's entirely possible too. He's not the Universal Champion anymore, so there's not this, well, he has to be appearing at some point. WWE could just decide, actually, we'll save up his appearances for next year as we build up to WrestleMania. That's entirely possible. Furthermore, Roman Reigns is going to have a featured part in the Street Fighter movie, which is now filming in Australia. Again, there was confusion about whether he'd be available to even compete at Clash in Paris because of that filming schedule. It looks like he's going to be filming his scenes possibly after this show. So with that being said, WWE have to find a way to write him off TV. Now, do they go the route of he gets beat down here, maybe even defeats Bronson Reed, but post-match, Reed hits these multiple tsunami attempts, or someone, we don't even know who, maybe it's Bron Breakker, takes out Roman Reigns, and then we know that it's going to be Bron Breakker versus Roman Reigns, maybe at the Royal Rumble, or possibly at WrestleMania next year, something like that. Or does Roman Reigns just disappear off TV? That's entirely possible too. Sometimes with Reigns and with Lesnar in the past, they don't even have a specific reason for why they don't actually come back to WWE TV. It's just because that's what their contract is like. They're not booked for upcoming appearances. So you feel like either way, regardless of the outcome of the match and regardless of if there's an angle to write Reigns off television either, we could see a situation whereby Reigns is written off TV following Clash in Paris. Maybe they do it on an upcoming episode of Raw. That's entirely possible too. But you feel like with the limited appearances he has in his contract, plus his upcoming filming schedule, it feels likely that Reigns is going to be written off TV in the very near future. Let's move on, speaking of the Vision, to possibly could we see a new member of the Vision be unveiled at Clash in Paris this evening? It's entirely possible. We've heard rumours for several months that you could have the likes of Ethan Page, who of course is the current NXT North American Champion, or Ricky Saints, who is currently going to compete for the NXT Championship, as possible names that could be added to the Vision faction. Of course, the Vision is the faction currently led by World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins, alongside Paul Heyman. You've got Bron Breakker, and later Bronson Reed was added. Interestingly, following WrestleMania, you had those reports that there were no plans for new members to be added to the Vision. It was just going to be Heyman, Rollins, and Breakker. Later on, then Bronson Reed got added, and then later on, further reports stated again that these two names in Ethan Page and Ricky Saints were being linked with possible main roster call-ups and possible inclusions actually in the faction, because you kind of do need that person who can take bumps and can eat pinfalls. At the moment, we don't really have that in the division. Of course, you've got Seth Rollins. He's the centerpiece of it. He's the World Heavyweight Champion. He's certainly not going to be doing jobs. You've got Bron Breakker, who is being billed as the next big thing, a future world champion, a future WrestleMania main eventer. And part of the whole reason for putting this faction together is to get Bron Breakker over and get to a point where he separates himself from the faction and feuds with Rollins and gets elevated into main event status. You've got Bronson Reed, who is the muscle. He's the sort of monster of the faction. He's not going to be eating pinfalls that much and taking bumps. So you need that guy that is going to get his ass kicked. You need that guy who is going to eat pinfalls or, be able to take bumps. And a lot of people are looking at Ethan Page as someone that fits in there. He can talk, he can take bumps. Ricky Saints is the same. He can talk, he can take bumps. He's a smaller guy. So they would all fit there, and also they would be elevated just by being in the faction by proxy. So you could see this new member debut at Clash in Paris in a couple of different situations. One being that match between Roman Reigns and Bronson Reed that we just spoke about, whereby maybe post-match you have this new member assist Bronson Reed and Paul Heyman in taking out Roman Reigns, in addition to maybe Bron Breakker taking him out. Maybe that's what they do. Or, of course, you've got that World Heavyweight Championship match. You've got a situation where it's Seth Rollins defending the World Heavyweight Championship against CM Punk, Jey Uso, and LA Knight. And the issue you've got there, if you're Seth Rollins, is that your numbers advantage that you would have with the Vision being at ringside, it's completely nullified, right? You've got obviously Bronson Reed, Bron Breakker, and Paul Heyman, 3 people, but you've got 3 opponents. So you need still to find a way to have the numbers advantage, and you can have that by introducing a new member. You can have a situation whereby maybe Punk takes out Paul Heyman, Jey Uso takes out Bronson Reed, and LA Knight takes out Bron Breakker, and suddenly you don't have the numbers advantage anymore. But this is where an Ethan Page or Ricky Saints or maybe someone else appears, and it's someone that wasn't even spoken about. It was the numbers advantage that we didn't know about allows Seth Rollins to retain the World Heavyweight Championship in the process. So I think that would be more likely in that scenario if you were going to have a new member of the Vision debut, that they debut there just when it looks like Rollins' numbers are up. It's actually, he's always one step ahead, and this was kind of the way he won the World Heavyweight Championship, right? By faking the injury. He was 1 or 2 steps ahead, and that's why Paul Heyman's the Oracle. That's why Seth Rollins is the Visionaries, because they're always thinking ahead. They're always one step ahead, and that step ahead is a new member of the Vision on Monday Night Raw. Now, Cody Rhodes. Of course, Cody Rhodes, he's not scheduled for Clash in Paris. We haven't seen him for several weeks on WWE television since Drew McIntyre took him out, hit the Claymore, and it sent Cody Rhodes through the bottom of the announce table. And for weeks, Drew McIntyre's been calling out Rhodes. He's been asking for a medical update. We've heard radio silence. McIntyre's kind of pivoted to a feud with Randy Orton in his absence, and Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, they're all not scheduled for a match tonight at Clash in Paris, but that doesn't mean that Cody Rhodes won't appear. Now, what we do know is that Cody Rhodes has been in Australia. He still might be in Australia filming the Street Fighter movie that I mentioned before, the same movie that Roman Reigns is scheduled to have a significant part in as well. So we don't really know Rhodes' schedule. The reason he was written off WWE TV in the first place was to go and film that Street Fighter movie, but the suggestion was it wasn't going to affect storylines all that much. Now, when it comes to this Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes situation, that is where you could get into the main event between John Cena and Logan Paul. As I mentioned, we've had a situation with Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre becoming a quasi-team recently. They teamed up at SummerSlam to face Randy Orton and Jelly Roll. This is where you could have Drew McIntyre come out and get involved in Cena versus Paul. This would maybe have Drew McIntyre coming out, maybe trying to cost John Cena the match, helping Logan Paul get a victory over Cena. And Randy Orton maybe comes out, and Orton and McIntyre get into it, and just when they're brawling off, they're brawling away, or it looks like Drew McIntyre's got the advantage, or Paul's got the advantage. Cody Rhodes makes a surprise appearance, and Cody Rhodes not only fights off McIntyre, he and Orton fight off McIntyre, and then that levels the playing field, and maybe that's how John Cena wins the match. Or I could see Cody Rhodes kind of evening the playing field in that situation, perhaps. So I wouldn't be totally shocked. Again, I just don't know if it's theoretically possible that he could be in France. I mean, WWE has the means to travel from a lot of places, right? From Australia to France. Cody Rhodes has an insane schedule, doesn't he? Of flying all around the world. And then I I don't think you can put it past WWE and Cody Rhodes for him to fly to Paris just to do a spot, get on the jet and go back to Australia. I don't think that's impossible. I do think it is kind of unlikely, but I don't think you can rule it out. That's what I will go with. So I don't know if it's possible, but I don't think you can rule it out. And finally, before we get into the final surprise that could happen tonight at Clash in Paris, a reminder, we will, as I said, have a watch-along and a post-show for Clash in Paris later on tonight. So be sure to join us here on the channel. We will be live later on this evening for that. So if you haven't already, check it out on the channel. It will be live already, and you can set a reminder to join us later on. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and click the like button. Finally, speaking of surprise appearances, could we see one once again from the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar, who made his stunning return to WWE at the conclusion of SummerSlam, attacking John Cena just after he had lost the WWE Championship to Cody Rhodes. Now, we haven't really heard anything from Brock Lesnar or really about Brock Lesnar since then. We had John Cena come out on the episode of SmackDown following SummerSlam and say that Brock Lesnar now has a John Cena problem. We then heard that SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis said that he had heard from Brock Lesnar regarding John Cena. This was as John Cena was just leaving the venue a couple of weeks ago in Dublin. As he was leaving, you had Nick Aldis say, "I've just heard from Brock Lesnar," but before the SmackDown General Manager could even say what he had heard, Cena got punched in the face by Logan Paul. Not really. They had to reshoot it because he missed. But the point being is, in storyline, he's heard from Brock, but we never found out what Brock Lesnar had to say. Now, the assumption would be a challenge, wouldn't it? The assumption would be, and we do know, that next month at WWE WrestlePalooza, their first PLE on ESPN on September 20th, that PLE will be headlined by John Cena versus Brock Lesnar. So the suggestion is that Lesnar possibly is going to throw out the challenge. Now, most people are expecting that we're not going to see Brock because Brock only has specific appearances. And he doesn't have many appearances, maybe because he's been on ice for the best part of 2 years, that maybe WWE's got a bulk of appearances that they could use. I don't know. But I wouldn't be shocked once again if Lesnar makes a surprise appearance here. Nobody expected him at SummerSlam, and reportedly he flew in about the day before. You could absolutely have a situation where once again Brock Lesnar has flown in the day of. He's in Paris. Nobody knows he's there. He's backstage. He's on his bus or he's hidden away. And just as it looks like Cena's going to win, or maybe, as I mentioned earlier on, you have this situation whereby Drew McIntyre's got involved, Randy Orton's got involved, and Cody Rhodes appears just when you think nobody else is going to make a surprise appearance. This is when Brock Lesnar comes out and he attacks John Cena. He costs him the match. Cena's embarrassed because he lost to Logan Paul, and this has now happened twice. And maybe Cena throws out the challenge for WrestlePalooza. Says, actually, before you even can throw out the challenge, I'm going to throw out the challenge. Brock versus Cena for the first time in over a decade, WrestlePalooza on September 20th. That's entirely possible as well. So Lesnar, you never know with him if he's going to fly out all the way to Paris. You know, sometimes with Lesnar, it's flying out in the United States. But at one point, he was scheduled, prior to obviously all the controversy and the lawsuit, to have a match in Perth for Elimination Chamber back in 2024. So it's entirely possible that Brock could make an overseas show. I don't think you have to say, well, this is in Paris, Lesnar won't appear at it. Lesnar, if the money's right and it's on his contract, he'll appear. So I don't think you can rule out at all that Lesnar would appear. And then post Clash in Paris, this is when you start to have more appearances from him on WWE TV. We hear from him for the first time, and the match is then set up between Lesnar and Cena for Clash in Paris. So there you go, guys. There are 5 names that could be set, or 5 surprises rather, that could be set to take place tonight at Clash in Paris. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, as you can see right there. We are on our way to 25k, which was our goal. Initially, our goal this year was 20k. We hit that over WrestleMania weekend. Now we're on our way to our goal of 25k in 2025. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to Wrestling News 365. It's been an incredible year so far. We've got so many more things planned. New videos, new video types are getting uploaded all the time. In addition to your daily news videos, you got videos like this, these sort of countdown, hypothetical fantasy booking kind of videos. We've just debuted a new series as well here on the channel called 365 Deep Dive. Be sure to check that out. The first video of Vince McMahon's WWE Return Master Plan. We go through that in great detail. They're super long, super in-depth videos, kind of timeline-ish. to see the timeline of Vince's exit, return, retirement, controversy, possible return, all that stuff. So be sure to check those videos out. I've got so many of those planned for the future. Of course, we've got live streams, watch-alongs, post-shows, all coming up. Next month's going to be a crazy month, head-to-head with WWE, WrestlePalooza, and AEW All Out. We're going to be doing 2 separate streams at the same time for that next month, so be sure to join us for that. And as I mentioned, when it comes to Clash in Paris and when it comes to WrestlePalooza, you can watch all of them as part of your Netflix subscription. Even if you're in the United States, all you have to do is get a VPN, and the best reliable one, in my opinion, is NordVPN. I use it myself for different streaming services to watch different stuff on different platforms. It is reliable, it is safe, it is well worth the money, and you can get up to 73% off plus 3 months extra. All you have to do is use our link. You can scan the QR code, links in the video description. It'll be pinned in the comment section below, along with all of our other affiliates. Be sure to check those out. You can save yourself some money, and you can support the channel in the process. So that is really much appreciated. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. As always, I'll see you later on for Clash in Paris.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.